I only repaired her ship. Now this alien princess claims me as her mate. The stars blurred into streaks of white as Marcus Kane gripped the freighter's controls, his knuckles pale against the worn leather. Alarms screamed, red lights flashing across the cockpit. "Come on, old girl, hold together," he muttered, wrestling with the stick as the ship shuddered violently. He was just a cargo hauler, not a combat pilot, but the energy storm that had swallowed his freighter didn't care. It had appeared out of nowhere, a swirling vortex of violet and gold, tearing through his planned route to the Orion hub. Now, the planet below, uncharted, unnamed, loomed closer, its surface a patchwork of glowing blue forests and jagged silver mountains. Marcus braced as the ship broke atmosphere, heat shields glowing cherry red. The hull groaned, and a final jolt threw him forward, his harness biting into his chest. Then, silence. He blinked, tasting blood from a split lip. The cockpit was dark, save for the faint glow of emergency lights. Outside, alien trees swayed under a sky streaked with auroras. He was alive. For now. Unbuckling, Marcus grabbed his toolkit and a survival pack, his engineer's instincts kicking in. The freighter was dead, main power offline, hull breached. He'd need shelter, food, and a way to signal for help. Stepping onto Zorath's soil, he felt the ground hum faintly, like a heartbeat. The air was sharp, tinged with ozone, and the trees pulsed with bioluminescent veins. He'd seen alien worlds before, but this one felt alive in a way that made his skin prickle. He didn't get far before he sensed eyes on him. Turning, he saw them, figures emerging from the shadows. Tall, slender, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes glowing amber, they moved with eerie grace. Zorathians, he'd later learn. Their leader, a young female named Lyrian, stepped forward, her gaze piercing. No words passed, but Marcus felt a strange pressure in his mind, like someone rifling through his thoughts. He squared his shoulders, meeting her stare. "I come in peace," he said, half joking, raising his hands. Lyrian tilted her head, and a voice echoed in his skull, clear as a bell. "You are not of this world. Why are you here?" Marcus blinked, startled. Telepathy. Great. Didn't exactly plan to crash, he replied aloud, patting his toolkit. "I fix things. Ships, mostly. Can I fix something for you folks to earn a ride home?" The Zorathians exchanged glances, their thoughts a silent buzz Marcus couldn't hear. Lyrian's eyes narrowed, but she gestured for him to follow. They led him through glowing forests to a city carved from crystal, its spires humming with energy. At its center stood a massive dome, pulsing erratically, like a heart struggling to beat. Lyrian's voice returned in his mind. "This is our core. It fails. Our city dies." Marcus whistled low, eyeing the structure. It was tech beyond anything he'd seen. Part machine, part organism. But he recognized desperation when he saw it. He set his toolkit down, rolling up his sleeves. "All right, let's take a look." The Zorathians watched, skeptical, as he pried open a panel, revealing a tangle of crystalline circuits and flickering energy conduits. His hands moved with practiced ease, diagnosing the issue. A feedback loop frying the system's regulators. He didn't have spare parts, but he could improvise, using scraps from his survival pack. Wire, a multi-tool, even a bit of his ship's hull. He jury-rigged a bypass, stabilizing the core's pulse for now. Lyrian observed every move, her amber eyes unblinking. "You understand machines," she thought, a note of surprise in her tone. Marcus grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "Born with a wrench in my hand." Her lips twitched, almost a smile, but the other Zorathians weren't as impressed. An elder, Taver, stepped forward, his thoughts sharp. "This human meddles with what he cannot comprehend. He is a risk." Marcus felt the tension, but Lyrian held up a hand, silencing Taver. "He has helped us. We owe him trust." As night fell, the city's glow dimmed, and Marcus sat by the core, tweaking his repairs. Lyrian joined him, her presence calming despite the telepathic weirdness. "Your people don't like me much," he said, glancing at her. She hesitated, then spoke aloud, her voice soft but clear. "They fear change. But I see strength in you, Marcus Kane. A mind that builds, not destroys." He chuckled, unsure what to make of her. Was it respect? Curiosity? Either way, he wasn't leaving until the core was fixed, or until he found a way off this rock. The core flickered again, a warning. Marcus cursed under his breath. His bypass was a band-aid, not a cure. Whatever was wrong ran deeper, and he'd need more than scraps to fix it. Lyrian's eyes met his, steady and searching. "Will you stay?" she asked. Marcus looked at the city, its people, its humming heart. He was just an engineer, not a hero. But something about Zorath pulled at him, like a challenge he couldn't walk away from. "Yeah," he said, gripping his wrench. "I'm not done yet." Marcus woke to the hum of Zorath's city, his back aching from sleeping on a crystal bench. The core loomed nearby, its pulse steadier thanks to his patchwork repairs. But he knew it wouldn't last. Lyrian found him at dawn, her black skin catching the aurora's glow. "You slept here," she said, not a question. Marcus shrugged, rubbing his neck. "Didn't want it blowing up while I was napping." Her eyes softened, and she gestured to the core. "Come, there is more to show you." She led him beneath the dome, through tunnels lined with glowing runes. The air grew warmer, heavier, as they reached a chamber where the core's roots, crystalline tendrils, spread like a nervous system. Marcus knelt, tracing a fracture in one tendril. "This isn't wear and tear," he muttered. Something hit it, hard. Lyrian's thoughts brushed his mind, hesitant. Long ago, enemies struck here. The Clithar. We thought their damage healed. Marcus frowned. Enemies don't just vanish. What's their deal? Lyrian explained as they worked, her voice low. The Clithar were a nomadic species, scavengers who'd once tried to claim Zorath's resources. They'd sabotaged the core centuries ago, forcing the Zorathians to rebuild. Now it was failing again, and she feared the Clithar's handiwork wasn't done. Marcus nodded, his engineer's brain already turning. "So we're fighting a ghost bomb. Great." He spent hours studying the core, mapping its energy flows. It was a puzzle, alien but logical, and Marcus loved puzzles. He noticed the tendrils reacted to his touch, like they were alive. "This thing's more than tech," he said, glancing at Lyrian. She nodded. "It is Zorath's heart. Our lives are tied to it." That raised the stakes. If he screwed up, a whole city went dark. Using his multi-tool, Marcus carved away damaged crystal, exposing the hidden device embedded in the core, a Clithar sabotage node, pulsing faintly. "Gotcha," he whispered, prying it free. The core flared, nearly knocking him back, but Lyrian steadied him, her hand cool against his arm. "You found it," she said, awe in her voice. Marcus grinned. "Step 1. Now we make sure it doesn't happen again." They returned to the surface, where Tavor and the elders waited, their thoughts a storm of doubt. "The human interferes," Tavor projected, glaring. Marcus held up the node, its jagged edges glinting. "This was killing your core. Clithar tech, you're welcome." The elders fell silent, but Tavor's eyes narrowed. "You bring danger, not solutions." Lyrian stepped between them. "He brings hope." Marcus didn't care for politics, but he needed their trust to keep working. He spent the day blending human and Zorathian methods, wiring his ship's spare circuits into the core's regulators, guided by Lyrian's knowledge of its rhythms. The core stabilized further, its hum stronger. Citizens gathered, watching, their amber eyes wide. Marcus felt their thoughts, not words but feelings. Curiosity, hope, fear. At dusk, Lyrian sat with him, sharing a Zorathian meal, glowing fruit that tasted like mint and iron. "You work as if this is your home," she said. Marcus chewed, thoughtful. I fix things. Doesn't matter where. But her words stuck. He'd always been a drifter, hopping from job to job. Zorath felt different, like it needed him. Or maybe he needed it. Then, a tremor shook the city. The core's hum faltered, and Marcus was on his feet, toolkit in hand. Lyrian's eyes widened, her thoughts sharp. Something moves beyond the forest. Not ours. Marcus's gut tightened. He'd seen enough trouble to know it didn't announce itself. Clithar? He asked. She didn't answer, but her silence said enough. He checked the core, finding new stress fractures. The sabotage node was gone, but its damage lingered, like a virus. Marcus worked through the night, Lyrian at his side, her telepathy guiding him to weak points he couldn't see. Their hands brushed as they passed tools, and he caught her staring, not at the core, but at him. "What?" he asked, half smiling. She looked away. "You fight for us." "Why?" Marcus paused, wrench still in hand. "Because I can." It was that simple. He'd never been one for grand speeches, but leaving a job half done wasn't his style. The core hummed again, stronger, and Lyrian's smile was worth the ache in his hands. But the tremor came again, sharper, and a distant boom echoed through the forest. Trouble was coming, and Marcus had a feeling it wouldn't wait for him to be ready. The city trembled as Marcus and Lyrian raced to the core, the ground shaking underfoot. Above, Zorath's auroras flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows across the crystal spires. Citizens gathered, their thoughts a chaotic hum in Marcus's mind. Fear, anger, hope. He ignored it, focusing on the core's readouts. The stress fractures had spread, and energy spikes threatened to overload the system. "We've got hours, maybe less," he told Lyrian, his voice steady despite the knot in his chest. She nodded, her amber eyes scanning the horizon. "They come." The Clithar attacked at dawn, their ships, jagged, beetle-like, emerging from the forest like predators. They didn't fire weapons, not yet. Instead, they landed silently, disgorging warriors clad in spiked armor, their movements unnaturally fast. Marcus watched from the dome, his jaw tight. The Zorathians had defenses, energy shields, sonic emitters, but they were built for natural disasters, not war. Tavor's voice cut through the crowd. "This is the humans' fault." He woke their wrath. Marcus spun, temper flaring. "I saved your core. You want to fight me or them?" Lyrian silenced Tavor with a look, then turned to Marcus. "What can you do?" He grinned, adrenaline kicking in. "Give me your tech and an hour." She led him to the city's armory, a vault of glowing weapons and shield generators. It was alien, but Marcus saw patterns, circuits, relays, power flows. He could work with that. With Lyrian's help, he tore into the emitters, rewiring them to amplify their range, then linked them to his ship's targeting system, salvaged from the crash. "This'll hit harder," he said, wiping grease from his hands. "But I need eyes on their movements." Lyrian closed her eyes, her mind reaching out. "I feel them. They circle, testing us." Her telepathy wasn't just talk, it was recon. Marcus nodded, impressed. "You point, I shoot." They set up atop the dome, the emitters humming as Marcus calibrated them. The Clithar advanced, their armor glinting under the auroras. A test shot from the emitters knocked one back, its armor sparking. The others paused, wary. Marcus smirked. "That's right. Think twice." But the Clithar weren't stupid. They split, moving in coordinated waves, probing for weaknesses. Marcus's system couldn't cover every angle, and the core's fluctuations weakened the shields. Lyrian's thoughts grew urgent. They target the core directly. Marcus cursed. If it went down, the city was done. He rallied the Zorathians, showing them how to reinforce the dome with spare panels from his ship. They listened, their doubt fading as he worked, his hands never still. The battle escalated as Clithar drones joined the fray, buzzing like hornets, firing plasma bolts that scorched the crystal walls. Marcus's emitters took down dozens, but the enemy kept coming. Lyrian stayed close, her telepathy guiding his shots, her calm grounding him. Then, a drone broke through, its bolt grazing Marcus's arm. Pain seared, but he kept firing, blood soaking his sleeve. Lyrian grabbed him, her touch steadying. "You're hurt," she said. He shook his head. "Not done yet." The core's hum grew erratic, and Marcus knew they couldn't hold forever. He had one card left, overloading the emitters for a massive pulse, enough to fry the Clithar's tech. It'd burn out the system, maybe the core too, but it was their shot. He explained to Lyrian, her eyes wide. "Do it," she said, trusting him. Marcus rigged the overload, his hands shaking from pain and exhaustion. The Clithar closed in, their leader, a hulking figure with glowing red eyes, roaring a challenge. "Now," Marcus shouted, slamming the switch. The emitters screamed, unleashing a wave of energy that rippled across the city. Clithar drones fell, their armor sparking, and the warriors staggered, disoriented. The leader collapsed, its eyes dimming. Silence followed, broken only by the core's faint hum. The Zorathians cheered, their thoughts a wave of relief, but Marcus slumped, his arm throbbing. Lyrian caught him, her strength surprising. "You did it," she whispered. The cost was high. The emitters were slag, and the core's damage worse than before. Tavor approached, his thoughts softer. "You fought for us." Marcus nodded, too tired to argue. The Clithar were gone. For now, but their sabotage lingered in the core's fractures. Lyrian helped him to a bench, her hand lingering on his. "We need you," she said. Marcus looked at the city, its glow dim but alive. He wasn't a soldier, just a guy with a wrench. But he'd never felt more needed. Dawn broke over Zoreth, the auroras fading to reveal a sky bruised with clouds. The city stood, scared but unbroken, its crystal spires reflecting the first light. Marcus worked by the core, his arm bandaged, his toolkit lighter after days of scavenging. The Clithar were gone, their ships retreated, but the core's fractures remained, a ticking clock. Lyrian stayed close, passing him tools, her telepathy a quiet hum of support. They'd saved the city, but Marcus knew it wasn't over. Not yet. He focused on the core's roots, rerouting energy through undamaged tendrils. It was slow work, each connection a gamble, but the hum grew steadier. Citizens helped, guided by his instructions, their hands clumsy but willing. Marcus saw himself in them, ordinary people rising to a challenge. "You're learning," he told a young Zorathian, who beamed, mimicking his grip on a wrench. Lyrian watched, her smile rare but warm. "You teach as you build," she said. Marcus shrugged, just paying it forward. By midday, the core's pulse was strong, its glow brightening the dome. Marcus stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. It wasn't perfect, but it'd hold long enough for the Zorathians to rebuild. Cheers rose, and he felt their thoughts. Gratitude, pride. Tavor approached, his earlier scorn gone. "You have our thanks, Marcus Kane." Marcus nodded, uneasy with praise. "Just doing my job." Lyrian led him to a spire overlooking the city, its view stretching to the glowing forests. "You could leave," she said, her voice soft. "Your ship's beacon still works. A rescue could come." Marcus leaned against the railing, the weight of her words settling. He'd been a drifter, fixing ships, chasing paychecks. Zoreth was different. These people, this place, they'd gotten under his skin. He thought of Lyrian, her quiet strength, her belief in him. "And if I stayed?" he asked. Her eyes met his steady. "You'd be one of us, our voice to other worlds. A liaison, a bridge." Marcus imagined it. New challenges, new puzzles, a purpose bigger than himself. Humanity's spirit wasn't just surviving. It was building, connecting, exploring. He'd always run from roots, but Zoreth felt like a place to grow. "All right," he said, grinning. "Sign me up." The Zorathians held a ceremony that night, their thoughts a song of light and sound. They gave Marcus a crystal pendant, its glow matching the cores. Lyrian pinned it to his jacket, her fingers lingering. "For strength," she said. He chuckled. "Think I'll need it." As the city celebrated, whispers spread of other worlds, other cores failing. Marcus's work wasn't done, and he was ready for whatever came next. He stood by the core one last time, its hum a promise. Zorath was safe, but the galaxy was big, and trouble had a way of finding him. Lyrian joined him, her presence a quiet anchor. "What now?" she asked. Marcus gripped his wrench, his eyes on the stars. "We keep building."